Welcome to Pull the Pin Ready War Room Edition. Jim here.
Nate here.
What's up, Nate?
Hey. Long time no see.
You ready to talk about some stuff?
Yeah, sure. I'm always ready to talk about some stuff.
I hear you're a subject matter expert on headlines.
As long as I don't read the article, I make all types of assumptions.
And we know most Americans do that. So how are we any different? Well, I'll tell you how we're different, because we've been in the military and we've seen probably more than you probably. Well, I can't say that. I mean, we don't know who we're talking to, but we've probably seen and done more than most people, right?
Most civilians, yeah.
Most civilians don't even leave their state. I was shocked to see how many people didn't even travel out of their own state. You know what I mean?
I have not seen that statistic.
Yeah, well, just got to ask people. Just ask people around, hey, where's your favorite place to go? I want to do that stuff too. I want to go do some man on the street stuff to get some real answers from real people so that we don't have to play around with all these false polls, right? Because you've never been in a poll, right?
No, I have not.
I've never been in a poll, but yet apparently they speak for me.
Are you a member of any like VFW or anything like
that? No, I'm not.
I've been looking into getting into my local one.
But
then I look and I'm like, I think they have an age restriction because I'm not old enough to be in there.
Well, I don't think it's an age restriction. I think
it's not, but
right. Well, no, I get what you're saying. The problem is they've mostly been centered around drinking.
I'm in.
Like every VFW I went to, that's it. They just get together, hang out, and drink. Now they're all not like that. But that's the ones I've experienced, which is why I never went back.
Well, you're a non-drinker though, so that doesn't. I drink. I can sit there and have a couple beers with veterans, but you're a non-drinker, so that doesn't.
Well, yeah, but I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind hanging out with a bunch of people, but I'm not going. They usually have a bar in there, and that's what you do. You go hang out at the bar. Like if I'm gonna go hang out at the bar, I want to see some women. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to hang out with a bunch of old dudes at the bar drinking, talking war stories. I can do that right here. You know what I mean? This could be our bar right here. But I've been to places, VFWs, where they serve food and it's cheap as heck and you get good food.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at is one of those type of VFW. It's right in my town, but they have a full service. They have Monday through Friday specials. They do Sunday brunch buffets and.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they're pretty active, I'd join just to be there for other people if they need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if they are older people, some of those guys are so old and lonely. They've already lost spouses and things like that. That that's where they get their socialization.
I can do a live from location episode.
Yeah, right. I thought about that because I got a buddy out there, Bob, 91-year-old veteran, awesome dude. Got married last year, 90 years old, got married.
You serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. I was at his wedding.
Good, Bob.
Yep. And yeah, right now Bob's in the hospital with COVID, but I'm sure he's gonna pull through because he's a tough dude and he's got a great attitude. And
how's his wife Ethel doing?
What's that?
How's his wife Ethel doing?
Ethel, right? No, his wife's awesome too. His wife is awesome too, and I'm really I was amazed. Awesome people.
I'm being what's it called? Ageist? I don't know if that's a.
Yeah, that's probably a word. Ageism is always a word. You're an ageist.
There you go. Whatever I am.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to do. Let's get into a headline.
Yeah, that's what we came here for, to look at some headlines and talk about them. So let's go right into the Air Force one. U.S. Air Force sends $4.6 billion unfunded priorities list to Congress.
So this $4.6 billion, they don't have it earmarked for something and just unfunded. Just give me $4.6 billion, and what is that? What to use it on?
Well, let me tell you that I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if it's changed, but this is something somebody told me years ago in the Army, and because I always used to complain how the Air Force gets all this good stuff, right?
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll explain it to the people out there. So the military budget, the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, they all get the same amount of budget, right? So what happens is the Marines go out and buy a bunch of tanks and boots, and the Navy goes out and buys a bunch of ships and rockets, and the Army goes out and probably just buys MREs and something stupid like that. The Air Force goes and builds up their barracks and puts in pools and jacuzzis and saunas. And then when all the money's spent, the Air Force goes back to the government and says, we only have half a runway. You can't work with half a runway. We're going to need a supplement. And they go and get a supplement to finish the runway because it's justified. They need the runway.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
That's ingenious. That's what they've been doing for years, taking care of their people first.
I thought, well, that is ingenious. I thought you were going to say you have a budget, you either use it or you lose it. And that's
that's the military way, right? And that's why we get into the mentality of, oh, let's buy more rockets, let's buy more tanks, let's buy more that. Yeah, we get into that. But honestly, the Air Force takes care of their people. And this is what the result of that is. Well, it's not entirely this. It's probably because Trump was building up the military and now Biden and them are ignoring the military.
No, but I agree. The Air Force does take care of their people. I'm an Army civilian and I was on it. I'm an Army civilian. I worked for a Navy commander on an Air Force base. You got that?
Yeah, the Marines just left out. They're probably still deployed.
Probably. But Navy Marines are the same thing, right?
Oh, and they're probably guarding the base, right?
Same. Navy Marines are the same. Same paycheck, same company.
Ooh, ouch.
But yeah, their barracks are so much nicer. This is a story my mom and dad always tell me. I forgot where my dad was stationed at. I think I remember in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, but they had brand new housing. No one's lived in it yet. And it was a duplex. So my dad had one side and the Air Force guy had the other side. That Air Force guy got paid to live in the Army housing because it was substantial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they take care of their people.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen on deployments, dude. They only go on 6-month deployments and they must have like an air-conditioned tent or Connex thing, whatever those things are called. Yeah. I've seen it. It's insane, dude. It's insane. It's insane. But you know what I mean? What do? You know, we still need them.
Yeah. So what do you approve 4.6 billion unfunded? What do you just say? Yeah, sure. I mean,
as long as you could justify it, right? What do we need this for? Oh, we need this for this, and this.
It's unfunded. It's not justified. It's not funded for anything.
Well, but that's what I just told you. It wouldn't surprise me if they've already spent their money on something else and these things are justifiable. We don't have enough of, communications towers. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough that. It's probably all justified stuff. 4.6 billion though? I don't know.
If I was doing it again, I'd probably do it in the Air Force.
Oh, that's all. I wouldn't let my kids in any military unless it was the Air Force. ain't happening. But they're harder to get into though. You know that, right?
Air Force, the cartel. That's it. That's all I'm getting into.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. You might get into this next headline. All right. Finland and Sweden may join NATO as soon as the summer, so you may be part of NATO someday. Oh, we are, aren't we?
Oh, those two countries aren't NATO already?
No. That's part of the whole Ukraine problem thing, too.
Well, I know Ukraine's not, and that's why we haven't rushed troops there to defend them yet, because they're not NATO. I didn't realize Finland and Sweden weren't NATO, too.
Yeah,
well, I don't know.
I'm telling you.
I'm guessing those are major European countries. I mean, they're part of the EU, though, right? I'm assuming.
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't really care what they are. I mean, I'd like to go to those countries, and I worked along with some Swedish people, Swedish police. They were MPs. They were all volunteers, and they were all buff. Like every one of them was buff, and all they did was go to the sauna. Like, I mean, if you Google there's a map my son showed me of all the saunas in public saunas in Sweden.
Oh.
I mean, it's like everywhere. I was like, what the? Yes, that's the first thing they build before they build a chow hall. They build a sauna.
So Swedes take care of their people too, like the Air Force.
Yes, dude, yes. But I mean, we can't talk about Sweden because comparably, obviously, again, it's a small population. It's a controlled border. You know what I mean? It's a country that doesn't need super protection and defense budget. You know what I mean? So they've got money to do things like that. We don't.
So if Russia went into Sweden, are we leaving them alone too?
Well, no, but Russia isn't going to go into Sweden. I mean, well, I don't think they would. They'd have to go through Poland and all that stuff first.
Is Sweden landlocked?
Well, it's up. No, it's not landlocked, but they're not going to go.
Russia can get in there. Russia can get in there without going through a NATO country.
Yeah, but that doesn't serve their purpose. And see, I want to do a whole nother episode on Ukraine because of this. This is what really irritates me. We can all predict what Putin's doing and why he's doing it. We can all say all this stuff, but I literally saw a video of Putin saying what he was doing, why he was doing it, because he told them, get your people, your missiles, your NATO stuff off my border. He said, do not bring your NATO, do not bring your missiles to my border. He said this. He said, don't do it. He said, how would you feel, America, if I brought missiles into Canada or I brought missiles into Mexico? And guess what? I think you even brought this up. They tried it in Cuba. And what did America do? America said, oh, hell no. So why do we get to be the bully of the world and say, oh, sorry, Putin, we're going to do it anyway, and yet blame Putin? How do we do that?
I heard that Ukraine might become part of NATO, though.
They wanted to, but you understand Ukraine is divided too. There are pro-Russian people living in Ukraine.
That. Yeah. I'm not on that. But I just heard today that Ukraine might get accepted to NATO.
Yeah, because they've been requesting it. But this is exactly what the U.S. said years ago. I think it was Clinton, back in the Clinton era, when NATO was expanding. Russia said, "That's cool, but you need to stay here and stop expanding closer to me." Russia said, "That's don't do that." And what did we do? We did it. We started expanding because we are the ones that get to say how the world operates. We're the ones that control everything. We're the ones that get to break
the other countries. The other countries want to be part of it.
But
why would we? Well, we're part of NATO, but we are not the NATO. Why would we prevent someone that wants to be part of NATO not to be part of NATO?
It's not about preventing it. It's about putting your stuff in Ukraine. So okay, let's say that. Let's go to Ukraine, right? Let's say that. Let's go to Canada. Canada's real close to Russia, right? Alaska's the only thing in the way.
Yes.
Alaska's the only thing in the way.
Is Canada part of NATO already?
Well, what if Canadians, because they are dictators and they're getting really bad. So what if Trudeau decides to side up with Putin? How is America going to respond, and how should we respond?
Until you cross our borders, whatever.
Right. But so what? Okay. So they don't need to cross the borders. What do? They line up their whole entire border with missiles that can reach any city in America. You got no problem with that.
Russian missiles?
Russian missiles in Canada.
Okay. We see how good they're doing in Ukraine right now.
But that's not my point. That's not my point. My point is we don't want that. We don't want that to happen. And Cuba was prime proof of that. We don't want missiles that can hit our country that close to us. Why does Russia not get that?
Well, because we don't like Russia. That's why. Because we don't like Russia. Russia isn't playing the way we wanted them to play, so we're going to set up missiles so in case Russia plays bad, we can get Russia. That's why.
Sure. But I guess my point is this, is I'm not saying I support or endorse Russia or Putin. I'm not saying that. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that America gets to determine what other countries get to do. Even like you brought up Ukraine. If Ukraine wants to be part of NATO, let's look at Ukraine. Ukraine, it used to be called the Ukraine, right?
Oh, no.
And Ukraine means borderlands. What are borderlands? Borderlands are usually territories occupied by many different cultures and people because no one owns it. So you can't sit here and tell me that we need to go defend Ukraine because Ukrainians want to be part of NATO. I guarantee you there are many people in Ukraine who don't want anything to do with NATO. I guarantee you.
Just like there's plenty of people in America that want to be part of NATO either.
Exactly. And right now we're at the point in our country where we can probably literally split our country in half. Liberals, conservatives. There's people that we could probably
split it in major cities and suburbs.
Sure, yeah. All right. Okay. Run a practical, right. Because of the silent majority. Yes.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is we're so divided right now, we could split our country. This is what Ukraine's done all of their existence. You know what I mean? This is what they've done. So, I'm not a Ukrainian expert. And if you're out there and Ukraine, but I can read history too, So at the end of the day, I'm just getting so tired of our, people saying Trump is arrogant, Trump is this, national this, and then all of a sudden supporting our country that is going in and trying to implement our rule over other countries.
So how close are Finland and Sweden to Russia? Should we not allow them to join NATO because we don't need to be close to Russia?
I think they're on the other side of Poland. And the point is that I don't really care if Sweden and Finland, I don't even care if Ukraine joins NATO.
What's the difference between Poland and Ukraine? Poland's part of NATO, so why can't
Yeah.
Ukraine be part of NATO?
And that's my point is I don't care if they are. At the end of the day, though, this is not my fight. It's not my war.
It could be.
How is it my war?
Well, if Ukraine's part of NATO, it could be your war being
Sure.
another country.
Sure, but let me ask you
I'm not
this.
saying you're serving anymore thing, but it could be your kids' war, you know?
Well, no. My point is the reason it's our war is because we started it. We went in there and took out Putin's puppet and put in our puppet. We did that because we felt Ukraine needed a leader that agreed with us. We did that. You remember that? That's what started all this whole Burisma investigation, Joe Biden's son. That's what started all this.
Wow.
Russia had a leader who was legitimately voted, from what I understand, as the leader. And we went in and replaced him because he was corrupt, which may be true. He may have been true, whatever, but let the Ukrainians decide.
Yeah, exactly. I'm agreed with you on that. I don't care who's in president of the country. Not my problem.
But that's my point.
Yeah, I agree.
We meddled in Ukraine's business. And you know why we did it? Because we were all getting paid from that. They were getting paid from Trump, listen to me. Putin, that's a Freudian slip right there. Russian supporters and Ukrainian supporters were paying American politicians and the like to go and lobby to get their way.
The same thing is we put our puppet in Iraq, we put our puppet in Afghanistan.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if they're Democrats or Republicans, they're doing it to get rich, and that's all they care about. You think they care about Ukraine and the citizens of Ukraine? They don't. They're all getting rich. Our country's doing that. I'm embarrassed to say that.
So is this a headline for Finland and Sweden or Ukraine?
Yeah. This is the point is NATO is the tool that we are using to get control of places that we have no business doing.
So my question is Finland and Sweden scared of something? Is that why they want to join NATO now? So they have protection, you know?
Maybe. Because Poland's the first. Poland, they were talking about Poland. Gosh, dang it. If Putin, well, it's just a matter, it's what they do. They make the enemy, they choose who the enemy is. And the media pushes it, Putin. Like Putin's the one with our gas price. Putin's causing inflation, even though it was going up before Putin invaded Ukraine. But that's a whole nother subject. So, yeah, Sweden, they were talking about Poland. Poland, remember the airplanes?
Yeah, I think Poland can handle Russia on their own too.
You say that, and there's people that believe that. But those airplanes were coming from Poland. And Poland said, no, we're not giving them to the Ukraine.
Well, they flew them to the US. Russia. Maybe because Poland needs them for their own defense.
No, because the U.S. promised to replace them with better planes.
Yeah, so Poland already has planes, so I'm guaranteeing Poland will crush Russia if they try and cross their border.
But what I'm saying is Poland did not want to give Ukraine the planes because then it looks like Poland is endorsing and supporting Ukraine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I understand because Ukraine's not a NATO nation. If Ukraine was a NATO nation, Poland would have given them planes and pilots.
Sure, because they're protected, because they knew they're backed by all the other people.
Yes.
But Ukraine's not NATO. So Poland can't take that. And I'll be honest with you anyway, Poland's too close. The United States, we could sit here, let's take a chance with Russia. Because Russia's not coming to us unless it's a big global, nuclear war. But Russia's not coming to us. But Poland's in range right now. Poland is in range of Russian missiles. So they don't want to be in this fight. But you see what I'm saying? And I don't even know if Ukraine wants to be in this fight from both perspectives. Like, I don't even think Ukraine's ironed out their own differences. But yet we're going in there and dictating Putin bad, NATO good. We're the ones dictating that. When the country itself hasn't even resolved that. The request to join NATO, who's that coming from? The puppet we put in.
In Ukraine, but I don't think we put a puppet in Finland or Sweden.
No. And you may be right. I don't know why they want to join, but they may be right now looking at this from the same perspective as Poland.
I'm
They
just
may,
assuming by the headline.
yeah, they may be. Yeah, I didn't read anything but Finland and Sweden and why they want to join NATO. But like I said, I guess they got them convinced that Russia's the bad guy too, and they're a threat. And I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, what's really NATO doing anyway? What's the purpose of NATO? What? I mean, they're protecting Europe from what? Russia? They're not even protecting them anymore.
Well, I'm sure they would. If Russia hits Poland, U.S. will be involved in that one.
Sure.
So NATO is protecting those countries from Russia.
Well, right, but remember when our president went there, President Trump went in there and said, "Hey, we're footing the bill. You guys need to pay your shares." They're not even functioning like they're supposed to. NATO's a joke right now. It's almost as bad as the United Nations. United Nations is horrible.
Yeah, that's the other one I was going with. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a joke.
They just take the U.S. money.
All they're doing is taking our money, and we're just printing money, so our money's going to be worthless anyway. So it's a joke.
I want to take the next headline.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, we're never going to get to that unless we talk about our money, because the DHS paid over $455,000 to build security fencing around Biden's beach home.
It's pretty. This is funny. So, where Biden's beach home is, they have a rule on fences.
Ooh, so not only is it a hypocrite thing, he's breaking rules.
Well, he's not breaking rules. He applied for an exemption to the rules to build a border around his fortress.
Interesting.
The Delaware government allowed. Well, you know what? He did not apply for it. Joe Biden applied for it. Joe Biden applied.
Well, of course, because I don't think he could fill out. He can't even probably sign his own name. How's he gonna fill out a form? Like, where do you live? I don't know. Ask the first lady. Or no, not Kamala, the other first lady.
But I think his property is like, I don't know, half acre. Maybe not even that much. That's a hell of a goddamn fence. $455,000 for a fence.
Exactly, right.
Who bid that contract?
That? Yes, who pays for that? And
let me tell you who it wasn't. It wasn't Delaware Fence Company, because they don't charge that much to build a fence.
Exactly. And you know, and this is the funny part too. Like, think about this. This is money laundering. This is what's been going on. We've been talking about this crap for a long time. $20 pencils and stuff like that. All that is money laundering. So
they applied for a 10-foot fence, and that area, that neighborhood, that subdivision, whatever, doesn't allow 10-foot fences. So they're only building a 10-foot fence. Now, I didn't get into the detail of what type of 10-foot fence. Is it electrified? Is it
made of gold?
Bulletproof? Is it
golden bulletproof electrified?
Or is it just a 10-foot vinyl fence, white fence to go around this house? I don't know. But whatever it is, $455,000 for a freaking fence.
It's money laundering. Somebody owns stock in that company. Somebody relative owns the company. It's money laundering. That's all it is, dude. It's all it is. You can't tell me that went to the lowest bidder. You can't tell me
Even the highest bidder locally would not charge that much for a fence.
You just can't tell me. And I think at the end of the day, if it's government money, don't they have to go through some process? Don't they have to get 3 bids? Don't they have to do all this stuff? Or does this not count as government property because government, because it's his private house?
Private, I don't know.
But how do we get to spend our taxpayer dollars on this if it's his private house?
I don't know that much detail, but when it's built, I'll go take a picture of it for you, though. Let you know what it looks like. When he's not there, so I can get near the place.
It's crazy. Why don't you go sell them fence posts? Hey, I got these $2 million fence posts you might want to use.
I'm just selling screws. Hell, I can make enough money on screws.
There you go.
I don't need to carry big fence posts. I just need screws.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. This is the crazy. And this is the stuff that people need to see this, because this is the hypocrisy that kills me. Do as I say, not as I do.
A 10-foot vinyl fence should cost, I don't know, maybe $20,000, depending on how big it is. I'm guessing. I don't install fences, but $455,000 for a fence?
I'd love to see the itemized list of that.
Dude, your sheets are moving.
Yeah, that was my pillow that just disappeared
Oh,
somehow.
well.
It's magic. But yeah, so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, this is highlights a lot of issues with our government. This is right here, a lot of issues, and this is where people they're dumb. You're wearing your mask because you're told to, but they're not wearing masks. I mean, you're told to do all these things, but they're not doing it. I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy, crazy. I'm done with these people. I don't know what that means, but I'm done with them. I'm done with this headline too, because anyways. Disney heiress and high school teacher comes out as trans, trashes Florida's anti-grooming law.
Dude, you are on a roll. I can't. No.
Well, come on, let's look at this alone right here. First of all, let's celebrate that they called it Florida's anti-grooming law, because that's not even what it's called.
Well, they didn't call the anti or the don't say gay bill.
Well, right, but let's make sure that could have been the bias of the media reporting this. They could have put their own thing in instead of what the trans person called it. I didn't watch the whatever that come out, the Disney's whatever she is. There's nobody important to me. But yeah, what is she? She's an heiress and a high school teacher. Or is that two different people?
How do you know it's a she?
Well, whatever it is, whatever it identifies as, is that a well, heiress is a she, isn't it?
I'm gonna assume. I don't know. Isn't an heiress just someone who would assume?
Well, heir is a person, but an heiress I think is a female.
Anyways, if you're an heiress at Disney, I don't think you're gonna be a high school teacher. You're already loaded.
That's what I'm saying. But then who cares what the high school teacher?
So maybe the Disney heiress is with the high school teacher. I don't know.
But who cares about what high school teacher? Is that like her partner?
The Disney's heiress? Yeah, exactly. The Disney's heiress partner.
Okay. And it says comes out.
I wonder if I can't get to this crap. I can't do it. I can't. Is the Disney heiress, was that a guy who's now a girl, and the teacher's a girl who's now a guy? So now they just switched, but now they still like the opposite sex. Jimbotron, I don't know what the hell you're doing.
None of it makes any sense, and that's why we shouldn't entertain it, because it doesn't make sense at all. It's just ridiculous.
I can't look at the headline, but we can keep discussing it. That's just
no. I don't think there's anything to discuss, because I think we already talked about it before. It's just nonsense, and it just needs to stop. It just needs to stop.
I did see a video from a Disney executive where she was talking about, I put as much trans and gay, and maybe we showed it on this.
Yeah, I don't know if we saw it,
but she's like in the background, like there's an episode going on. They have like a trans person in the background just showing them.
Yeah,
I do as much as that as I can. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, like why is that important? Why do you need to normalize it so you feel better?
I always thought that all kids should go visit Disney World and see what it's like. Not my kids. No.
I have 2 days left on a pass, but they're not refundable. I'll probably just let it burn out because I ain't giving them any of my money.
Well, you already did, so you might as well. You already did, so you might as well go.
But still, I have to pay something when I'm there.
That's like the liquor stores that poured out the Russian vodka. You already paid for the Russian vodka. Why are you pouring it out?
It wasn't even made in Russia.
Yeah,
it wasn't even made in Russia.
You're wasting your money right now. Just don't buy it anymore, but don't dump out at your store already. You already paid for it.
No, I mean, I'm still going to be. If I go there, I mean, it's not like I'm just not going to spend any money there.
Oh, true. I guess so. I guess you'll lose that money, but you won't spend money on food or gifts or.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to stay somewhere. I'd have to get some room and lodging that's not related to Disney. I'd have to put my own transportation, but I probably got to pay for parking because I don't think it's included.
True. Okay, gotcha.
So I mean, I'm giving them more money. I mean, I'd rather just take the hit.
True.
Yep, I'll take the hit.
Let's take the hit on this episode.
That's a great idea. So we're gonna thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Nate, for being here because you're the only thing that interrupted my rant. You're a veteran. Get on the show here. Get out. Reach out to us. The website's listed below. PullThePinReady.com. Just get on here. We've got enough to talk about that. We want to hear your opinions too, and we get tired of hearing our own. So till then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin ready. Boom.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinion. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.